Always look for food with a bordbia quality mark, so you can relax and enjoy it more.
Welcome to the first of 2 Christmas programmes from County Waterford, which this year won the Foodie Destination of Ireland award. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of the good food that's on offer in the city and county. I'll be going to Lismore to visit a traditional butcher shop and to learn about spice beef. In Dungarvan, I'll visit the Tannery Cookery School and cook with Paul Flynn. And I'll be in Waterford City. JB Dubois will show me a festive vegetarian dish at GIY HQ. And of course, I'll be showing you some recipes of my own, including ideas for brunch and a light dessert, plus new ideas for turkey, beef and ham. There's a lot to squeeze into 2 programmes. My base for exploring the county and for cooking the food is here at Faithlegg, which stands at the head of Waterford Harbour, where the Barrow, the Nore and the Suir rivers meet. The main house dates back to 1783, and in 1998 the house was converted into a hotel. The head chef is Jenny Flynn, who looks after 2 kitchens which can cater for up to 600 people on a very busy day. One of the jobs you can do ahead of Christmas is cooking the ham and making a glaze. Cooking the ham is the first thing I'm going to do. I have a lovely ham here, so it's quality assured Irish ham. No bone, it's tied up and a little bit of fat just for flavour. So we're going to braise it, so we are, in some medium dry cider from Waterford. And you're always looking for new ideas, how to cook ham. For me, it's about the ham, the flavour of it, and then the glaze. We're going to top this up with some local apple juice. This is the braised liquor, but you can also use this for when you're making a nice stock for soup. Into that, I'm just going to cover with some water. So last year I would have cooked it with some vegetable stocks and some spices. This year a little bit different. So 1 onion, just chop it roughly. Sprinkle that all in there. 2 or 3 sticks of celery, that's all it needs, and then cut them roughly. We call that dice a mirepoix. I love some fresh thyme, and this works really, really well with this. And then some black peppercorns. So the lid goes on this. I'm gonna bring it over to the hob, bring it to the boil, and then you just need to skim it every so often. So just as it's coming to the boil, you let it simmer, and this is gonna take roughly about 2 hours to cook. So you let that just simmer there, so I'll just switch on the gas. So 2 to 3 days ahead, then you let it cool down. I always usually wrap it in cling film and then store it in the fridge. Strain off your vegetables, and then you have the most delicious, delicious stock that you can use for a nice celery soup, even with a bit of blue cheese, smoked bacon like that. It works really, really well, or even in a risotto. So this is what the ham looks like when it's cooked. Just with a serrated edge knife, I've made little triangles, just little score the actual, a little bit of the fat. So what I'm going to show you now is how to make the glaze. But when you're glazing it, make sure you use this. This is parchment paper. Trust me, this is going to save you a lot of wash up over the Christmas period. It's kind of sweet and sour glaze. We're going to use a little bit of whiskey. I did say a little bit. This is some local Waterford honey that we're going to use here. Red currant jelly, about 4 spoonfuls of this. This is a really interesting spice, allspice. So it's a little berry. There's a beautiful, beautiful spice in this. Put in quite a bit of this. Traditionally, ham with cloves and brown sugar was a classic, and it still is beautiful, by the way, but this one is a little bit different. Now, to give it acidity, we're using some local cider vinegar. This is organic, and the mother is in it. It's unfiltered, gives lovely acidity. If you don't use this, it's going to be too sweet. Into this, I'm going to put a little bit of lemon zest. Now, this needs to cook, and it takes about maybe 10 to 12 minutes, up to 15 minutes to cook this. So I'm going to bring it onto the heat, and using a whisk, you're going to mix them all through. So you have your sweet, sour, the whiskey's gorgeous, and that spice is so delicious. Turn this up, and we're going to cook this. So you can double this recipe. And as it cools down, it will thicken. And don't worry if it's too well set, you just warm it up, or else you can pop it into the microwave, or you can put a little bit of boiling water. This is it here when it's ready. So you can see it's thickened up on me. You want it like a thick honey consistency. So I'm going to bring over my ham here with the pastry brush. Be really generous. This takes about 40 minutes to be beautifully glazed. Now, if you like the flavour of cloves, instead of the allspice, you could use some ground cloves, or you can stud the ham with cloves. But I've done that so many times, I thought this year we'll just do it a little bit different. So this needs to go into the oven. So I have one already done. And the smell of this when it's caramelising. Look at it. How nice does that look? So you didn't really probably see the little diamonds that we cut with the serrated edge knife. And the glaze, what you do when it's in the oven, you just keep spooning this. And look how moist and delicious it is. And that is our glazed ham. What I would do is put it on a board, on a big plate, slice it up, let everyone help themselves. It'll make your Christmas dinner very special. John, how are you?
Nice to meet you. Welcome to
Thrilled
Lismore.
to be here. I have heard so much about you and your family and the shop. So tell me a little bit about the business.
We're not in Lismore that long. We're only here since the 1890s, but the family are in the trade since the 1600s in the general West Waterford area. We've a small farm outside town. We bring in our own cattle and sheep. We start our house here at the end of this bar, kill them ourselves and handle them ourselves and come down into the shop and sell them across the counter.
Is there any specific breed of cattle?
Yeah, it's just all Angus and Hereford cattle. It's just more traditional breeds.
Are there many abattoirs in Ireland, small abattoirs like yourself, that process?
Very few. Like there's only 2 left in County Waterford.
And when you process, how long would you hang the beast?
Generally, it'd be 3 to 4 weeks. Kind of, if you want to go any longer than that, then you're kind of going into a humidity-controlled environment. And
of course.
That's just an awful lot more space and an awful lot more fridges.
You're very well known for your spice beef. Is it a tradition in Waterford, or
It's a traditional Cork thing that it was just only eaten at Christmas. Most places do in Cork now, they do a dry spice, we do a wet spice.
does every butcher use the same cut for spice beef, or does it vary?
Generally, it's round roast would be used now because a lot of people just don't want fattier beef.
And when you said about, a wet spice, do you put yours in a brine, or
It's in a
how
brine,
does it
yeah.
work?
It's in a brine with a mix of spices.
And how long would that be in a brine for?
3 weeks.
Any particular blend of spices, or is that a three?
There is.
Is that a secret?
Well, I can't tell you everything.
But is there one ingredient, like is it cinnamon the main ingredient, or?
Can't tell you
Sorry, okay. So you mix up your own spice. You're
Yeah,
being very
yeah.
cautious here. Yeah. And do you find a lot of people now buy this?
It is a limited market,
Yeah.
but there are a couple of hotels now would take it, and they serve it as a carpaccio.
Do you like the flavour of it?
I love spiced beef. Just a little bit of Barnes bread, a little bit of butter, a little bit of spiced beef. That's all you need.
What cut have you here now?
So this is some round roast put in for you specially.
For me, particularly. Good man. Look at this. Okay.
So you just see how dark it's after getting. That has been in for just over 3 weeks.
You just tie it up to keep its shape.
Tie it up to keep it shape. Makes carving an awful lot easier.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
And you have lovely marble in the fata on the top. See it there?
Yeah.
That's lovely. And that's all from your own farm.
Yeah.
And you would get people travelling, from far and wide to come here to your shop.
We do, yeah. We get car people coming down for spiced beef and
Really?
for corned beef, yeah.
John, it's been really fascinating to visit your shop, and I'm really looking forward to cooking the spice beef. And have a happy Christmas. Thanks a million.
Safe to you.
I'm going to show you a delicious recipe using spice beef. So this is what the spice beef looks like raw. And what you do is you put it into a saucepan of cold water, bring it to the boil, and you let it simmer. This takes about an hour and 15 minutes. When it's cooked, let it cool in the liquor. You'll keep it really moist. So what I've done is I've just simply cut some off, obviously the cooked. So a small little dice of the spice beef, and it's delicious. Some mashed potato. It's a great recipe if you've leftover mashed potato. Just simply steam your potatoes, put them through a potato ricer so you get very smooth potatoes. Put in our spice beef, and then some herbs. So some chopped chives in there, and then some spring onion. Rocking the knife over and back, you're cutting it really nice and thin. Slide it in there. We need a little bit of salt and a wee bit of pepper. Mix this all together. We're going to shape them. Now, there's no need to add egg yolk to this, so using a potato scoop gives you a nice, even size shape. Press it, shape it, roll it. See all the lovely herbs, and then we use the spiced beef. And the secret into this is to let this kind of sit, and then we flour, egg, and breadcrumb them. So that's it there. That's the croquette. So I have a tray of them here already. When they sit in the fridge, they'll firm up so they will. So the next thing we do is we pan them. We dip them in plain flour, a little bit of egg wash, that's 1 egg, a little bit of milk, and then in some plain breadcrumbs. What I've done with the breadcrumbs is put a little bit of parsley. So it adds lovely colour, lovely flavour, so you have lots of herbs there. The spiced beef and the softness of the mashed potato, it works really, really well. So before I cook them, I'm going to show you a lovely accompaniment, what we call a celeriac remoulade. So you just peel it, just like a turnip, and then what you do, get a wedge like this, and you run it through a Japanese mandolin. So what you're doing is like a celeriac coleslaw. You can pickle this, but we're going to blanch it off, and we're going to put some mayonnaise into it, a little bit of apple, so it's going to be really, really gorgeous with the spiced beef croquettes. Because it's so thin, literally 30, 40 seconds should be enough. Put it into the pot, and we're just going to press it down with a spoon. This is what we call to blanch it off. So it doesn't take long, and even like that with a little bit of oil, even sesame oil, it works really, really well. Now, I want to let that cool down. So you've kind of blanched it off, you've kept the texture. It's not overcooked, which is really important. And I'm just going to let that drain off there. We're going to start to cook the croquettes, because these are quite deep. They're going to take a couple of minutes just to cook. You can do something like a fish cake, which works really well. This is some nice rapeseed oil I'm using. Put one in here at a time. I'll do 4 of them. If you're going to do these in the oven, about 160, and they'll take about 12 minutes. We're going to get some mayonnaise. We're going to get a little bit of whole grain mustard. This gives lovely acidity, sharpness, bit of texture. some chopped chives, and this goes all into the bowl. So this is for the Solaric remoulade. Grate some apple, and I'm going to use the coarse as if you're grating cheese. So a little bit of grated apple, go straight into the bowl. Skin and all. This gives lovely acidity, lovely freshness, a little bit of fine lemon zest, and really important in this is some lemon juice, or else the apple will discolour. Now I'm going to lift up the croquettes, just let them rest there. They look good. Cut our lemon, and I'm going to put roughly about a quarter of a lemon just in here. So we've got to mix this all together. So just to recap what's in the bowl, you have some whole grain mustard, a little bit of grated apple, some chopped chives, and you have some mayonnaise. And then mix in the Solaric. So that's perfect. So it's really, really lovely and moist. You can put in more apple if you want to. You can put in different herbs. But I want that lovely wet consistency. So it's fresh, fragrant, and the Solaric is delicious. So when you're cooking something like that in a deep fat fryer, we need to put a little bit of kitchen paper. I'm going to cut into one of these and just show you. So you can see the beautiful spiced beef, a little bit of spring onion, and also some parsley. So it's just very simple. You can jazz it up whichever way you want to. So we're ready to serve up. The first thing I'm going to put on the plate is the Solaric remoulade. So it's lovely and moist. You can see a little bit of the apple. And then we have our croquettes. I think 2 is enough. Some lovely microgreens, some salad leaves. Beautiful colour, a few little nasturtium leaves, and this is the flour. So that's my nasturtium flowers, and they add such colour, and also the leaves, they're lovely and peppery. So that's my spiced beef croquettes with the Solaric and apple remoulade, a lovely starter to enjoy at Christmas.
Always look for food with the bordbia quality mark, so you can relax and enjoy it more.
Jenny, I ate in the restaurant last night and had the cured salmon, and it was absolutely delicious.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm delighted to hear you liked it.
Good.
Now. It's all about the quality of your ingredients that you're using, and we're very, very lucky to have some lovely wild salmon from Ballyhack Smokehouse. I'm going to show you now how we've done it. It's really quite easy. So it's literally putting some salt, some sea salt, sugar.
So you get the sweetness from the sugar.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
What
That's
have you in
some
there
dill and a small bit of parsley.
Ah.
And then a few pink peppercorns and some fennel seeds. And I'm putting some Galway's gin on it. This is a local gin. Anchor Spirits is the people that make it for us. It's a Faithlegg gin. So it's taken from botanicals on the estate, and just making a really unique gin for us here in Faithlegg.
So that's interesting. Now, you didn't measure it very well, I noticed.
No,
You just...
no. a good dose.
Any particular quantities of sugar to salt?
Yes, it's say 100 grams of sugar to 200 grams of salt. Just give that a good old sprinkle on. So you have the salt and sweetness there. So I'm just wrapping
And I
the
see you
salmon
just
there.
put it on the top.
Exactly.
Okay. So what you've done there, you've just simply put the cure there, and then you have the skin and all.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I always keep the skin on because it's easier when you're carving it. I'm going to put a bit of a
Okay,
weight on
I'll
it.
help you.
Just like that.
And
Now,
that
you
goes
can
in.
put that in your fridge for 2 or 3 days and then check it after. But in between that, turn it, because there will be a lot of juice that will come out of that. The salt and everything will melt, so that'll be all water.
Okay, and it'll actually season the fish,
It'll
won't
season
it?
the fish.
Exactly.
You'll probably have to add more salt, wrap it back up in the cling film again, put it back in the fridge for 2 or 3 days.
So that's done, is
That's
it?
it, done.
Okay,
Yeah,
excellent.
exactly. So this is it. After the 3 days. That only took now 3 days.
It kind of firms up, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah. So you need to carve it really thin. Take it off the skin there.
So Jenny, on a busy night, would you slice it all to order, or can you pre-slice it?
We slice it to order. This is a pickled cucumber. Salt, sugar and water. And vinegar. Just
Yeah,
white wine vinegar.
for acidity.
Yeah, exactly. I'm putting on some nasturtium leaves from our garden.
They're lovely.
Some leaves. And I have some lovely homemade chutney here as well. Tomato and onion chutney cooked down. There's a bit of spice. It's lovely with beef, with meat as well.
Tangy and it's
It
sweet
is.
and sour. It's
Yeah,
delicious.
yeah. Put in another small bit of dill there. There we go.
Just
and we
simple
serve a small
and
bit of
beautiful.
brown bread with it.
I just think it looks so colourful, and the way you've sliced it so tiny. Look at that. You did a chutney. I can get the gin.
Yes, good. I was hoping
And the
you
chutney
could.
I love. I love the whole combination. I think this is a great dish that people can make at home. It's beautiful. Well done.
Good, thank you.
I really enjoy cooking the whole traditional roast turkey, but this is a recipe using turkey breast. It's really moist and succulent, and I'm going to show you how to brine it and make a really lovely spiced butter. But you can go to your butcher and get him to take off the legs of the turkey. You can bone and roll them, and in the next programme I'm going to show you a lovely turkey satay using the legs. So this is quality assured Irish turkey One breast here with the skin on. We're going to make an interesting brine. Slice an orange, which I've done. This is a recipe I nearly cook every year at home for my family. 1 clove of garlic, and I just literally kept the skin on and just cut it in half. So that's going to go in on top. And then one of my favourite herbs is fresh thyme. So literally just break it in, and buttermilk. This is an American technique. So there's an enzyme in buttermilk that will tenderize the turkey but keep it really, really moist. And you need to marinate this for 24 hours. So just tie it nice and tight. So that goes onto a tray into your fridge, 24 hours. And the next thing, this is really important, you lift it out and you pat it dry. You don't cook it in the buttermilk, that's just for brining. So I've just patted it dry with a little bit of kitchen paper, and that's ready to be roasted. But before we do that, I want to show you really lovely butter. Just regular salted butter, but we're going to jazz this up. Put a little bit of diced chorizo in it. This gives lovely smokiness, lovely flavour. Cooked chorizo I'm using in this. And this is a really lovely spice. It's harissa spice. So it's kind of a Moroccan spice, and it's really, really delicious, and that's going to go in there. Some chopped chives, or you could use some thyme if you want to. And this butter is brilliant because you can make it ahead. So I'm going to mix this all together. And that's it done. You can see the lovely little speckles from the chives, the chorizo, beautiful with pan-fried fish, chicken breast, pork chops. It works really well. Even a baked potato or pasta. It's a very versatile butter. If you want to keep it, the best way I think so is to wrap it in cling film, because this can keep up to 2 weeks in your fridge or up to a month in your freezer. So I'm going to put this on top, and I'm just going to use the back of the spoon here. The turkey breast is on a trivet, and underneath the trivet we have a little bit of parchment paper. So that's going to catch all those lovely juices, and that will flavour your gravy. So this is a little bit of smoked streaky bacon, and we just simply overlap it. And it's going to keep it really moist. The one thing I like about the turkey breast is that it cooks really fast, it's easy to carve, and delicious done like this. And then a little bit of water. You can use stock, I use water. So that's going to be the base for your gravy. A little bit of sea salt, black pepper, and a little drizzle of rapeseed oil. So what we're looking for is really moist, succulent turkey. 2 sheets of tin foil, cover it quite loosely. So that's ready for the oven. I have the oven preheated at 180, and this will take about 2 hours, 15, 20 minutes. The secret is with a spoon, keep basting those lovely juices over the breast of the turkey. For the last hour, remove the tin foil so you get the bacon crispy, but also the skin crispy. So I'll come back to that when it's cooked. So this is what it looks like after 2 hours. So I've lifted it off the tray onto a plate, and then I'm going to cover it. So it's beautiful and golden brown. And it smells delicious. So wrap it really nice and tight. I'm going to show you a lovely accompaniment is some Brussels sprouts. We're going to stir fry them. You trim them, cut them in half, and put them into boiling water for about 2 minutes. So they're not fully cooked. Into iced water, so you're keeping the colour, you're keeping all the nutrients. We're going to start the process for stir fry. Some rapeseed oil. I'm just using a nice big pan. I have it preheated. Some butter. And then we'll put in, first of all, the onion, which I've sliced really thinly. I'm going to put in the cranberries next. So these are the dried cranberries. They're lovely and sweet and sour, just to soften them up. Put all them in there. Now give this a little stir. Now chestnuts. These are pre-cooked. They come in a little vacuum pack. They're really good in the stuffing, and they're really nice in this. So if you're not a fan of chestnuts, you can use walnuts or toasted pine nuts. We'll just let that soften now for a moment. And then our sprouts. Just give this a good mix. So there's lots of colour there. So this is the whole nutmeg here. We're going to grate a little bit of this, and we're going to put some lemon zest into it. So just using the microplane, just a little bit, works really well. And I love putting a lemon in towards the end. Now, some sea salt and a little bit of black pepper. This can be done as your turkey is resting. Warm through the Brussels sprouts. You can put ginger into that, you can put a little bit of chilli if you like, and that's ready. Into a dish, and that for me is just delicious. So I've got 2 other side dishes. They're both in the oven. The first one is the roast potatoes. So what I did was par-cook some rooster potatoes. Then what I did is put in this absolutely gorgeous beef dripping, and they take about 40 to 45 minutes. Put them into a dish with some lovely baby Irish carrots. Roast them off in the oven, and we just got a little bit of star anise, a little bit of oil, tiny little bit of butter, and some honey. A little bit of rosemary works really, really well with that. Pour on the rest of this liquid here. You could put a little bit of vinegar if you wanted to in it, and then just a little bit of parsley. And then our turkey. Bring that to the table, slice it up, some delicious gravy. So this is the buttermilk brine turkey with the lovely harissa and chorizo butter. Then we have our beef dripping roasties and our stir-fried Brussels sprouts with red onion, dried cranberries, and then we have our baby carrots with star anise and honey. That is a feast I think all the family will enjoy. GIY is a not-for-profit social enterprise, helping people to grow some of their own food at home, at work, at school, and in the community. GIY stands for Grow It Yourself, and in the past year has supported over 500,000 people and 8,000 community food groups in the UK and Ireland. Grow HQ in Waterford City is the home of the GIY movement, and it's a pleasure to come here and meet JB Dubois, head chef at the cafe.
The furthest vegetable grown here is 120 paces from the kitchen.
That's an amazing and a very unique relationship with your gardener.
We're meeting 2 or 3 times a week to talk of what's coming up and all the thinnings he's got, all the odd things he's to get rid of and that I'm trying to think to use on our daily menus here. Yeah.
So it keeps you very creative and on your toes too.
That's it,
I think
that's
so.
it, you know.
So what dish are you going to make for me today?
So we're going to do a roast squash. So that's a patty squash.
And how many different varieties of squash do you grow here?
So here, between pumpkins and squash, we grow between 9 and 10 at the moment. Lots of seeds coming from France and stuff like that. So,
Okay, so what's the first thing you do?
we're going to make an incision first.
Here.
And then
Using the point of the knife.
point of the knife and you go in. Always the knife the other side of the
Yeah,
blade, and
the hand.
then you're pretty safe then. So you go
Need
around.
a bit of strength there
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
A lot, isn't it?
And that's been harvested about 3 months ago now. It actually gets better with time. They'll dry off and mature and get sweeter. Try to get only the seeds out to keep most of the flesh.
You're going
inside.
right into the centre, okay?
Right in the center there. Like.
And can you use these seeds?
Those seeds, you leave them dry naturally, put them in an envelope, and you plant them for the year after.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, out of 1 seed, they'll give you about 10 of them.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So first we're going to roast that. So I'll have a little chili oil. Going to just
So do you
rub
make
it.
your own chili oil here?
Yeah, so
Yeah?
it's homegrown chili as well.
What kind of oil is it you use?
So it's
in
a
there?
rapeseed oil.
Okay. Will it be quite spicy, this?
Nice bit of a kick, but then the stuffing is going to absorb a lot of it as well. So it's going to be a nice balance in between.
Excellent.
We're just going to close it back onto a tray. As it is, 45 minutes to an hour in the oven, 140, 150 degrees. So that's that
Okay,
done.
I'll move that out of the way. You have actually
Yeah.
one already done,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're going to show me the stuffing. So what have we here?
So the stuffing, we have millet. It's gluten-free. So there's no many grains are gluten-free. And on top of that, it's very sustainable. It takes 10 times less water to grow than wheat.
And do you just boil it?
There's kind of a skin around them, so you need to rinse them out on the cold tap first.
Yes.
And then you boil them in salted water.
That's it.
And that's what you're getting. It's more or less kind of a gluten-free couscous as such. Nutty like that. It's kind of nutty taste to it.
Not unlike bulgur wheat, isn't it?
Yeah. Inside there, we're going to put a little bit of sage.
This is
So
purple
I
sage.
prefer purple sage. It's not as strong. It's a
Yeah.
bit more mellow. Like you run your knife through it.
Fresh herbs, like they're so easy to grow at home.
Okay, prickle chestnuts.
They're already cooked.
I don't want to chop them too small to have a nice little bit of sweet bite into it. To keep a little bit of moist, nice bit of rapeseed oil in it.
Yeah.
So a nice little mix, and then stuff your squash when it comes out of the
So
oven.
after this is cooked,
Yeah.
then you just stuff it.
Stuff it. Put it back in the oven for about 40 minutes.
Yes.
And that's what you get.
This is it done now.
That's
So you
it done.
stuffed it. It's lovely and moist. You can see your chestnuts here,
Yeah.
the lovely sage, and then your millet. Gets a nice little bit of a crust, doesn't it?
Yeah, because so you see, the patty pan
Yeah.
has got a very hard skin, but then everything inside is nice and moist.
And what would you normally serve with this now?
Brussels sprout, a bit of the smoked kind of cheese, sunflower seeds. You mix a Brussels sprout pesto.
I've never actually heard of it before. So you just put that in the food processor?
Yeah, that's it. Touch of seasoning and a drop of our own cider vinegar.
Just for a bit of acidity.
That's it.
Beautiful.
So nice drizzle over.
So this can be like a real kind of centerpiece.
That's
You know,
it,
for the
that's
family,
it.
like
Yeah,
put it at
that's
the center of the table.
That's back there. So I'm going to serve my version of local cranberry sauce. Beetroot chutney.
A beetroot
Yeah,
chutney.
beetroot chutney. Very simple again.
It's beautiful.
A bit of zing into it, isn't it? Yeah. So cooked beetroot diced, and you make a syrup with the shallots and the vinegar as well. Bit of seasoning, and that's it. So you get the sweet and sour of the cranberry sauce. So nice blocks there for the color.
Good man.
Yeah.
It's very rustic.
Very
but you know
rustic.
what? It looks so colourful.
So
And
if you bring that out on your Christmas table, you definitely have wow factor. Like,
yeah, you certainly will.
Yeah.
Look at how moist that is. Now. It's beautiful. The
And the
flavour of
actual-
everything.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just so clean, so delicious.
It's
That is a
everything from the
fantastic
garden.
dish. Thank you for having me here. I wish you and Mike and all the team continued success. And have a great Christmas. Thanks for that
Happy
beautiful
Christmas.
recipe. In the next episode, I'll be cooking lamb with Paul Flynn in Dungarvan, giving you some ideas for a festive brunch, and there'll be recipes for turkey, poached pears and trifle. I hope you'll join me.
Always look for food with the bordbia quality mark, so you can relax and enjoy it more.